Welcome to The Secret Life of Celebrity Pets with me, Darren Kennedy, the show that brings you behind closed doors and into the pampered world of some of our favourite pets. On my very first episode today, I'm delighted to welcome a girl who's become a good friend. She's a TV presenter, an actor, a broadcaster, and 2020 saw her star rise like never before as she took on hosting duties of the winter edition of Love Island. It is, of course, the gorgeous, the unstoppable Laura Whitmore and Mick. Laura Whitmore and Mick, thank you so much for joining us.
Hey,
It's The Secret Life of Celebrity Pets. The first time that Harry and Mick actually meet.
Harry is. Look at now, you're just getting a tail. Come over here.
Oh, listen, how are you guys coping during lockdown?
To be honest with you, I'm so lucky to have Mick. I remember when I got Mick about 5 years ago, I kind of thought, what was I doing? It was, I love him and I don't regret him, but it's a huge responsibility. But it's a lot of love both ways. And now in lockdown, oh, thank God for him.
I mean, absolutely. You say you got him about 5 years ago. How did he come into your life?
He came into my life, I think it was my 30th birthday present to myself. And I hadn't planned, I was thinking about getting a dog, and then I thought, I can't fit it in with my life. I was still working at MTV, still traveling a lot, as I still do now up until lockdown. I remember going to, had this appointment before, and the owner of the venue had a little Maltipoo, which is half Maltese, half toy poodle. And I remember the dog being so well behaved, and the dog didn't really bark. And for me, I remember I used to have a little Yorkshire Terrier growing up. She was gorgeous, Holly, but she was quite yappy. And I was like, actually, is Harry Yorkshire? Yeah. They're adorable. So quiet. But like, she's quite yappy. And I was like, oh, I live like in central London, and you know, what will the neighbors say and stuff. And this dog just wasn't making any noise and was adorable, and I fell in love with her. And then I asked her about the breed and then what breeder she goes to. And I just kind of had a little look online, and you want to make sure it comes from a good home. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to go to the place and just look at the dog. Just look at the dog. I saw this dog online, looking for a home. I said, I'm just going to go and visit the dog. And sure, once you go and visit the dog, there's no going back.
Oh, like it's a done deal. It's a done deal. It's like lots of people saying to me, I'm going to try and foster a dog. I'm like, just be prepared that you will never, like 90% of people will never give the dog back. And why would you, you know? I mean, that's a really interesting thing, because obviously amazing company in lockdown. I've noticed as well that Mick has been instrumental in many aspects of your life. As she smiles there. I mean, it could be said that Mick is responsible for your relationship.
Really?
Well, didn't you say that Ian used to slide into your DMs to comment on Mick?
Yeah, I forgot that. Yes, Ian slid into my DMs and asked me what he said was, he was like, this girl I know wants to know what type of dog you have. So I thought he was using my dog.
That's ridiculous.
And I was just like, okay. I think I just replied Maltipoo, and that was it. And then it turns out that was his way of trying to start a conversation with me. But I thought that was him trying to use me to hit on another girl.
And had you ever spoken to him before this?
Yeah, no, I did. I had met him a few times at ITV things and through work with him. I think I met him at the Children's BAFTAs. But I didn't know him that well. Like, he didn't have my number. He had to slide into my DMs to ask me.
I mean, that's the thing. Listen, dogs are a great way of meeting people. Like, doggy dating should be a thing, I'm telling you. Because you meet...
Remember that film years ago, Must Love Dogs? Remember that film? They were walking in the park with the dogs. I just think and also it's a reason to talk to your neighbours. In London, a lot of people don't talk to each other, except I know everybody on my street who has a dog because I see them in the park.
I am the exact same. Before I had Harry, I didn't really know anyone in the community. And then since Harry, like everyone knows him. I mean, they might forget me, but they all know Harry. And it's like, it's real old Dublin as well. So you end up having great conversations with like characters that you wouldn't otherwise get to talk to, you know?
There's an older man who lives across the road by himself. And I just put a note. I don't really know him that well because I haven't lived here that long, but I was just aware he was there by himself. And I put a little note and a little bag of treats outside the door just last week, and I was upstairs and I was on my balcony, and he called up, and he has a dog, and he was saying thank you so much, and he said if I didn't have the dog, like that's I wouldn't leave the house, but like having the dog just to even just stand outside and go into the garden has been so important. And yeah, they are little pals. I mean, he's asleep right now, look at this. I
love it.
When I said the just doesn't bark. Well, I lied. I'll be back in a second. Oh my God.
So tell me, Mick came into your life 5 years ago. Tell us about why Mick, why the name Mick, what breed is he? I want to know everything.
You want to know it all? So he's a Maltipoo, which is a ridiculous breed of dog.
What's the Maltese?
Maltese mixed with a toy poodle, and for me, he's hyperallergenic, so he doesn't shed, which is really good because he's quite long hair. But my other half's parents have a dog. They've got a lurcher, which is short hair. Oh my God, her hair gets everywhere. She's beautiful, but her hair, I mean, it's all over the sofa and everywhere. So we're very lucky that we don't have to do like mixed hair is almost like human hair. And I remember before being allergic to a cat, so I was really scared about what I'd be allergic to. So it's hyperallergenic.
Yeah, and you know what I did is likewise with Harry. He's hypoallergenic as well because the thing I'm not crazy about is dog hair around the place. So you don't get any with him. Now, on the flip side, you have to get his hair cut, but like I can put up with that.
Yeah, but the hair, I can put up with that, but I don't think the groomers can because Mick hates getting his hair cut. He hates it. It's a traumatic experience for all of us.
Oh, Harry kind of hates it as well. It's funny though, because it said that all people...
Is he asleep?
He's kind of like, his eyes are semi-closed and his ears are listening to everything. He's having a nap. I'd say it's a very light sleep. He could at any moment wake up and bark his head off at a seagull.
It's just like he's on your heart.
He is on my heart, Laura. I mean, this dog has been in my life nearly 14 years. He is a piece of my heart. He is a piece of my heart. But it's funny, right? Because it said that, you know, dogs and owners share similarities. A lot of people say that me and Harry have similar hair. What similarities do you and Mick have?
Oh, we're both feisty. We're both blonde. Yeah, actually, you do kind of become a little bit like your dog. And we both traveled the world. Like he's got a passport. He's traveled so many places. He's been to so every time I do something, like I remember once doing the cover of Women's Health magazine over here in the UK, and the dog ended up on the bloody cover with me, and he wasn't supposed to. He was just on the shoot day with me, and then when I was posing for a picture, he just came over and just sat and looked at me. And there's been so many things like that he just ends up taking over stuff. Yeah, the dog just gets in everywhere. Harry's claim to fame. Harry's been on a lot of TV, but actually he was on the Late Late Show. Mick was on the Late Late Show the other week. Yes. That's why he ended up on it. I don't know where he's gone. What are the chances? So listen, your work is really busy, and I know that you can bring Mick on shoots. My house at the moment. Well, at the moment, it's busy from your house. But like in regular times, you can bring Mick on shoots when you're in London and stuff. But when you're in South Africa now for Love Island, what do you do with Mick? Who minds him? Yeah, I'm very lucky. Another thing as well, if you are going to get a dog and you do travel, you need to have that support. And it's hard because my mom doesn't live in this country. When I was doing I'm a Celebrity, Mom actually came over on the boat and took him back to Ireland for 3 months up to Christmas, because I used to do Celebrity November, December, October, November, around that time, October, November, December. To have that support network is so important. I think people, especially people who've never... It's like a child. Yeah. It's like people who've never had pets before underestimate the responsibility. Growing up, did you have pets? I had a cat, I remember, called Whiskas. Or Whiskas or Whiskers. What was the food? Was called Whiskas. Cat was called Whiskers. I actually think Whiskers was stolen. She was like the most beautiful cat ever. And we used to have these neighbors that used to always take her in and look at, like, and we'd be like, no, like if she got out of our house, because she wasn't a house cat. And then once they moved house and the cat disappeared. To this day, I still think they stole the cat. And then I had a little dog that we got when the dog was a little bit older, came from a home that separated. So we had a little dog called Holly, who was the Yorkshire Terrier. And she lived till she was about 13, 14, but she got knocked down by an ambulance. Oh my God, what a way to go. I know, because there was like an old woman, an ambulance was coming to check in an old woman on our road, and you know, I still remember, I was so traumatized by it, but I remember the guy who was driving was so traumatized as well. It was just shocking when, like, yeah, it was, ugh. But the thing was, she got out of the house, and we lived in a cul-de-sac, so it was quite safe, so she could go to another neighbour sometimes, but she was getting a bit older, so we weren't letting her out anymore because her hearing was going. So that makes me really sad. I mean, I don't know about you, but for me, dogs have been such a big part of my growing up, and
at times, particularly in my adolescence when I was struggling with my own sexuality and bullying and coming to terms with who I am, my dogs were a lifeline. And that's not saying it.
Dogs you have?
I had a dog called Freeway, which is a Yorkie, and a dog called Rascal, which was we called him a Jack Russell. Really, he was like a Jack Russell with a bit of something else. And they were just the most amazing company. How do you find that Mick is a source of solace, I guess, at times when you're feeling low or you've had a bad day or someone on social media has said something bad about you? Does he help?
Yeah, he does. He's like, and also I find if I'm in the house by myself, I talk to him. There's always a person. I mean, he's a diva, so everything is on his terms. I quite like that. Like he's got Mick. Oh, he's coming here. He's coming down the stairs. Also, for such a dog, pitter patter, pitter patter, pitter patter. Hello. Oh, he's gone for his food. It's just like he's got so much energy. He just like wanders around the house. Oh, here we come. He wanders around the house like he owns it because he does. Look at us. But yeah, he's been through so much with me. He's witnessed like ups and downs, and he's just always great for a cuddle. I mean, like look at this.
He's like literally, he's like a little lamb. Look at the tongue. Harry
a little lamb.
Harry won't let me do that.
Really? I mean, you're not that far off now.
No, but like it's always on his terms. Like if I were to pick him up and turn him like that.
I think it's a small dog syndrome as well.
Yeah. I mean, Harry's 1.5 kilos. Look at his little face. Oh, has he ever?
I'm so happy I got his hair cut not so long ago because he would be in dreads at the moment otherwise.
I was the exact same. I mean, listen, by all accounts, he's a little character. Has he ever really embarrassed you or gotten you into a situation where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe he did that?
Yeah, he pissed on one of the Arctic Monkeys before.
I mean, that's pretty much a good claim to fame. Was it the lead singer?
No, it was one of the guys in the band. We were in a pub in Hampstead, and he was only a little puppy then. They're like, "Oh, my little puppy!" And then one of them held him, and a few of them were there, and he just.
How did that go down?
Yeah, I pissed on him, so that was a bit embarrassing, to be honest. And again, he's a diva, so the hard thing with him is as well when people see him. You probably get this with Harry, and I think it's because he's small and cute. Like everyone just wants to lift him up and cuddle him. And you have to remember, and I have to tell, because I've got like younger godchildren and cousins and stuff, you have to tell them that like he's not a cuddly toy. Yes. And I think it's hard, and he can get quite like barky and like if he doesn't want to be touched, he doesn't want to be touched, and it's hard to tell a child that. So you're just like, he's not a cuddly toy. He looks like a cuddly toy, but you can't just pick him up whenever you want. So it's hard to tell, because if he was a big Doberman, you wouldn't just go and pick up a dog you didn't know. But people will go and pick him up even if they don't know him.
What's been the best thing about having Mick in your life?
There's been loads. I think it's just the love. Like, do you know, when you come home from work and you've had a shit day, there's somebody there who is so excited to see you always. Like he's excited about everything. Like everything's exciting. Like you open the fridge door, he just follow you around everywhere. Every time you're near the fridge, because he knows that's where the cheese is kept.
Oh, is that his big treat? Cheese.
And he knows cheese is in the fridge. So that's his little treat. Or carrots. He likes bits of carrots.
Harry loves carrots as well. I think it's the chew, carrot and apple.
Yeah, good for. Apple. So I don't know about apple, but he likes to chew it. Apparently, it's good for his teeth.
I love it. Okay, as a race, what do you think we could learn from Mick?
We can learn how to be flexible and lick our own balls, because that's what he does a lot. I think. I just always love how happy he is. Like he always just seems, when you bring him out to the park, he's just like happy in the present. And I think as humans, we don't live in the present. We always are like, I have to do this, I have to do this. Well, he's not thinking I have to do this. He's not thinking I have to do a Skype call and then I have to put together this proposal and I have to go and film this. He's like, I'm having a wonderful time right now and I'm just enjoying the now. So I suppose living in the present. I'm just like, oh my God, when he runs through the park and you throw a stick, it's like the most exhilarating thing in the world. I wish I had that.
Or do you probably get the same? You go out of the house to buy like a carton of milk for 5 minutes, come back, and it's literally like he hasn't seen you in 3 months.
Yeah, he gets so excited. And in the morning as well, it's funny because as soon as you're awake, he knows he's just on you. He's like on your chest looking at your face.
Apparently that's got to do with, I was reading up about that actually because I was fascinated. And I read some report from a dog psychologist. And apparently it's because dogs, and probably a lot of animals, but dogs in particular, don't view time in the linear fashion that we do.
Okay.
So some people kind of think, for instance, if they work away from home, that if they pop home every 2 hours, it's better for the dog. In actual fact, each time you pop back, it's like a brand new experience. So it can increase anxiety if your dog's a bit tricky. So you're better off actually making it one chunk. Now, obviously not too long, but like
Yeah, yeah.
having to pop them back in and back out.
That's we got this camera, a dog camera called the Furbo, and it's really good actually because you can give the dog treats. But for me, it kind of put my mind at rest because I'd seen videos before online, of showing dogs what they do when you're not there, and like sometimes they're pacing or they're anxious. So I don't even, you can talk to the dog in it, but I don't even really talk to him because I've noticed when I'm out, if I'm out for 3 or 4 hours, he's just asleep.
Yeah, Harry's the same.
He just sleeps the whole time, and it was really nice. I just check in. And as I said, you can feed treats, but I don't even bother feeding him treats because I just don't want to wake him up because, he has no concept of whether that's been half an hour or 3 hours.
Yes. Do you think dogs in particular, this is about pets, but obviously we're talking about dogs. Do you think they can be a surrogate for children?
Yeah, I definitely think it teaches you a lot, and it's that love. The only thing is you can't send them off when they're 18 and they can't look after you in your old age. That's the only thing. But they do definitely, there's a gap there that they do kind of fulfill.
Mm-hmm. Well, listen, we're just about to wrap up. One last question for you, Laura. And it's all about kind of responsible pet ownership, and you touched on this already. Any advice for anyone who's watching this going, oh my God, I want to get a Mick, or I want to get a Harry, or I want to get a, whatever type of dog. What's your number one tip?
My tip is just make sure you've got that support there, that support network. I'm depending on what your job is. Obviously, if you're working at home a lot at the moment, it's a dream and it's easy. There he is. It's so much easier working at home, but I do travel a lot, so I'm very lucky to have that support network. And not loads of people. I just have a small unit because you don't want the dog being passed around to everybody. And where do you live, and like what size dog are you going to get? There's no point getting a big dog if you live central London. Like Mick comes on the tube with me, and he goes everywhere, gets the train, and he's fine with it. So maybe do your research into what type of breed the dog is going to be. Again, if he's hyperallergenic or not, depending on, because you don't want to get a puppy. There's a lot of people who get puppies because they're small and cute, as I said, and they might grow bigger than you think they're going to grow. Maybe you want a big dog, but just do your research and just have that support network.
Do your research. I have noticed as well that you've been very active with your TikTok videos, which are very impressive, I have to say. You and Ian getting down on the dance floor. Let me see you just bounce it with me, just bounce with me, just bounce it with me, come on. But I did notice that Mick is in the back looking mystified, going, what are these two doing?
I know, he is. I do an Insta live about twice a week with my trainer Harry, and actually called Harry as well, great name.
Yay.
And I didn't notice it at the time, but then I was just like, I was putting it up on my Instagram live, and I just watched back. I didn't realize the dog was standing behind me for like a lot of the beginning of it, just looking at me, just standing, looking, being like, what are you doing? Judging me.
Do you ever think what's going through their mind when they're watching us, kind of going, what is this person doing? Or do you think it's always just love? Just love?
No, it's like, can I get food out of the situation? Like, his head's always like, this is Harry do that with his head. Anytime I talk to Mick, he's like,
yeah.
I basically think his life revolves around sleeping, pooping, and eating, kind of like all of us, and that's all he cares about. He does love playtime. I think it's always fun to have playtime with him. Like me and Ian will go to the garden and just he's really bad at fetch. You throw a ball, he doesn't always bring it back, so we kind of throw the ball back and forth, and he tries to jump up and catch it in between, so just to wear him out. So it's important to give him playtime, just the same as you would with a kid. Well, whoever said it's a dog's life got it wrong. Laura Whitmore Mick, thank you so much for joining us on The Secret Life of Celebrity Pets. Hey, I'm just so happy to see Harry. I'm sorry that Mick is... I'm surprised that Harry hasn't started barking yet, because this is the quietest he's been all day. He's 14, right? People think he's 1.5 kilos. People always think he's a puppy. Yeah, same. He's not, and he's still full of beans, which I'm thankful for. I can't believe he's only 1.5 kilos, because my little weights, baby weights, which everyone laughs at how light they are, that's what I use. And that's like having, I guess I should have two of Harry. Could use two Harrys. Well, today I needed a lighter weight because I was doing a different exercise, because I do have a set of dumbbells, but they're too heavy for what I wanted to do. So I resorted to 2 bottles of vodka. Hey, my problem is my vodka bottles are a bit light at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly made training a little bit more interesting. Well, Laura Whitmore, thank you so much, and stay safe, and I'll talk to you real soon. Mwah.
Okay, bye.